Car chases are dangerous and unpredictable. Viewer discretion advised.
All right, thank you so much, Tom. And as you can see there, that looks like a U-Haul truck, and CHP is close behind it.
Yeah, Desmond Shaw live in Sky 9. Desmond, where exactly are you at, and what can you tell us about this chase? I mean, a stolen U-Haul truck.
Okay, we don't have Desmond's audio with this. Desmond, is that you? Okay, I thought so. We are trying to effort Desmond, but in the meantime, this is on North Harbor Boulevard in Santa Ana in the Garden Grove area, and this reportedly is a stolen U-Haul truck. And must say, Chris, this is not the first time that we have seen a stolen U-Haul truck. However, it's not something that you expect to see all the time.
No, not at all. Earlier today we had a stolen van, now a stolen U-Haul truck, and it appears that the driver's not going too fast, about going 50 miles per hour in this area. Thankfully, there's not a lot of traffic out here, but as you can see, CHP crews are trying to get this person to pull over. We don't know much about who this person is, if there's more than one person inside, what's in the back of this U-Haul. Those are all questions that we're still waiting to figure out. But as you can see, this driver has no intentions of pulling over, Pat. And yeah, definitely bizarre to see. You can only imagine the drivers out there trying to figure out what is going on.
And the thing is, right here, he doesn't appear to be going at such a terribly high rate of speed. Well, we're up to 52 miles per hour right now. However, he doesn't seem to be driving erratically, at least from what we can tell right now, but we're not exactly sure how this took off, how long they've been following this person. We do know that it is a stolen truck, and the chase apparently began in Buena Park.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, Pat, that is the good news, that this driver is not going too fast. But it makes you wonder, you know, what are the intentions of this driver, and why is this driver not pulling over? And does it appear the driver's heading onto the freeway? Which freeway is that?
It looks like he is. We're going to tell coming up in just a second. California.
The 22.
Yeah, Garden Grove Freeway. And again, you know, obviously this is probably a rental, obviously.
Yeah.
So they have the plates. They probably know what company owns this truck. Maybe they've gotten in touch with the company by now. I don't really know that for sure, but I mean, that's certainly something that could happen because it is a rental.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a little hard to see right now, but this driver's on the California 22 driving right now. But it makes you wonder, you know, did somebody just move into the area and this driver came and stole the truck? Or is it a situation where, you know, the driver just randomly picked it up and it's empty in the back? That we still don't know. But this driver continues to go. And Pat, thankfully, the freeway is pretty empty right now as well. Not a lot of people on the road. I mean, after all, it is Monday night. A lot of people have to work in the morning. So that's a blessing right there. And
we do have more people going back to work. You know, as more things open, you will have more people on the roads. Chris, from what I understand, we have a retired police officer on the line with us. Is it Darren Hyatt, sir? Is that your name?
I patted to Darren Wyatt, and Chris and I were.
Hey, Darren.
I
just talked to you a few hours ago.
Yeah, also on Harbor Boulevard. This one is a U-Haul. It is stolen. Sometimes they get reported stolen when they were supposed to be returned on a certain day and time and were not. Other times they're stolen off the street and a stolen vehicle report is filed. But many times with these U-Hauls, people don't use them just for moving. Sometimes they're used for other crimes. We've recovered meth labs in the back of U-Hauls before. We've recovered dead bodies in the back of U-Hauls. So at this point, we really don't know what the reason for this person fleeing is. But we're up on the freeway here at over 70 miles an hour. Like you said, fortunately, not a lot of traffic. It does look like there might be something blocking the passenger window. I can see what looks like a jersey through that window, but I can't tell if it's a person or if there's an object blocking that. I don't know if you have any information on that in the booth.
No, you know what, and Darren, obviously, I mean, in terms of your view or the information that you're able to get, we can ascertain right now that it's probably just one person driving this U-Haul, right?
Well, that's what it appears to be, but you never know if there's another person in the passenger seat or in the middle. Those usually have bench seats, or if there may be somebody in the back that, you know, while unusual, it has occurred in the past. So you just don't know at this point. And if there is somebody in the back, are they a suspect or are they a possible victim of maybe a kidnapping or something like that? You just At this point, we just don't have enough information, and we probably won't until the pursuit comes to an end and we get information from the arresting agency.
And do you know which law enforcement agency is actively pursuing this truck? Is it multiple or is it just CHP?
At this point, I believe it is just the Highway Patrol. Typically, when an agency relinquishes control of a pursuit, when it gets onto the freeway to the Highway Patrol requests that the other units back out so that they're the only pursuing agency. If they get off the freeway again and get into another city jurisdiction, there's potential for that jurisdiction to get involved. But for now, it's just the Highway Patrol. And obviously, we have a law enforcement helicopter overseeing. It could be Anaheim's, it could be Orange County Sheriff's, or it could be Huntington Beach, any of the ones from the Orange County area.
And, you know, I had mentioned, Darren, that it's easy to find out where this truck was stolen from, correct? Because you have the license plate, you can trace it to which maybe area it was stolen from or where it was rented from. Possibly they could get information.
Yeah, if we know if it's already a reported stolen vehicle, then that report would tell the location that it was stolen from. So the initiating agency will have the information as to whether or not it was actually stolen from a U-Haul lot or not returned to a U-Haul lot, or if it was stolen from a street somewhere. So the initiating agency will certainly have that information.
Yeah, right now, if you're watching this pursuit, this is going on in the Garden Grove Freeway. It's the 22, and it's near the Beach Boulevard exit in the North Coast area. But this driver just continues to go with, it doesn't look like he or she appears to be stopping anytime soon. And it makes you wonder, Darren, when you're watching somebody who is in a U-Haul, which, you know, anyone can spot this U-Haul from far away, what is the protocol when dealing with someone with such a large vehicle that obviously doesn't go too fast?
Well, yeah, it's not going to go fast, and it's not going to maneuver quickly around corners. But as we had with the van earlier today, it's got a higher center of gravity, so it's going to be more susceptible to tipping at high speeds if it's trying to make those erratic moves. But also it lowers the potential for law enforcement to use a pit maneuver or something like that, because the higher center of gravity will cause the vehicle to be more susceptible to rolling rather than spinning. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. As far as when it comes to a termination point, how law enforcement will deal with it, it's like every other stop. They're going to sit back. They're going to try and call the driver back to them. Once that has occurred and they've cleared the interior of the vehicle, then they're going to have to try and clear that cargo area, which in this situation can be much more dangerous because you don't know if anybody's back there, and you do actually have to approach. You can't send a canine to a closed cargo area. You have to actually have a person get up there and open it before you can see inside. So that creates issues, angst, and higher tension in incidents like this. But again, all of these pursuits, the person's going to get caught one way or another, and it would just be sensible for them to pull over now and face the music.
Yeah, well, you said it would be feasible for them to do that. You're absolutely right about that. And, you know, we have seen that happen, Darren. We've seen people just finally, and who knows, he or she could be talking to someone on the phone, and they're telling them, you know, we know who you are. They know who you are. Why don't you pull over, because there's not really much you can do. You're going to get caught. And in a vehicle like that, again, they have the plates. They probably know where this truck was taken from, or at least where it belongs. So we have seen drivers, for some unusual reason, you know, go out on their 15 minutes knowing that they are going to be apprehended at some point. Something's going to happen where they're going to have to pull over, run out of gas. And we're just hoping, obviously, that it happens where there is no damage or injury to people and other drivers on the freeway, of course.
Absolutely, and again, it's easier when it's on a freeway like this at this time of night with not a lot of traffic than it is on city streets. When he was on Harbor Boulevard, we did see him running through red lights. Had he continued northbound on Harbor Boulevard, he would have gotten into the Anaheim Resort District. Fortunately, with the closures, it wouldn't be as busy, but that's a highly dangerous area.
Well, now he's on 405.
Yeah, just saw that right now. And,
northbound.
You know, the speeds are going 75, 76 miles per hour, which may not seem a lot, but, Pat, for a U-Haul, that's pretty
a
fast.
lot. That's true.
Especially if there's a lot of cargo in there. You know, Darren, when you're observing this and watching this, how, you know, as far as how fast this driver is going, how fast can these trucks go? Is that 76 about tops? I can't imagine it goes much faster.
I think that it can probably go faster than what it's going now, depending on its weight and whether or not it's governed in the engine or not. However, as you said, with the weight and if there's cargo in the back, that impacts its stopping distance. So not as much of an issue here on an open freeway, but on city streets, a much bigger issue here. So again, I can see at least 2 highway patrol units. They're keeping a pretty safe distance. They're not at risk of losing the vehicle in these conditions as they would be on city streets where he's in and out of traffic. So it's kind of just going to be status quo for now until the person finally decides to give up, runs out of gas, or hopefully doesn't end up in a crash.
And you know, he's made some distance. From what we understand, this started in Buena Park, and so if he's now at the 405, the northbound 405, you know, he's traveled quite a bit.
Yeah, he has, and this one doesn't seem to be like many of them that we see, or the one we even saw earlier today where they're driving around in circles. This one went from Buena Park up to the 22 on Harbor Boulevard, westbound the 22 dead ends into the 405 freeway there, and now northbound on the 405. So there could have been instances or areas that he could have gotten off the freeway if he wanted to circle back to where he started, and that hasn't happened in this case.
Yeah, Darren, one of the things that I find interesting is when it comes to these pursuits, some people may wonder, you know, where the heck are these drivers going? They just keep going and going. But you said for the most part, usually these people are trying to drive to areas that they're more familiar with, the exits they may know, you know, alleys they may know if they can get out and run. It kind of explained that for viewers.
Yeah, so that's a very common thing where the suspect will try and get to an area where they think that they can get away on foot. They'll go into a residential neighborhood, jump out real quick, where they may have friends that they can be hidden inside of a residence. And if there's not a helicopter overhead, they can, it's easier for them to get away. Or they can go into a parking structure or into an area where there's an airport with restricted airspace or anywhere that would prevent the helicopter from being able to maintain a visual observation on them, and then try and run on foot and hide. Many times that's them going into an area that they're familiar with because they know where they can run to, where there's fences, where there's locked gates, where there's not, things like that. Sometimes they just go until it runs out of gas, but more often than not, they're going back to an area that they're familiar with. Okay,
well, we see the Long Beach, Lakewood, California keeps popping up in terms of an exit. He hasn't chosen that yet. He is past Woodruff Avenue, and again, 73, 74 miles per hour. Lights are on. We haven't really seen him going in and out of traffic, Darren. Just wondering, too, if your expertise, well, they couldn't possibly, it's going really fast they can't do a spike strip, obviously, and that's just a very wide freeway.
It is a wide freeway, and with these speeds, it would be difficult. And one of the things that we talked about earlier today as well is deploying a spike strip is very, very dangerous for the police officers. We've sent officers around the nation who have been struck and killed either by the suspect vehicle or by another vehicle, and sometimes, unfortunately, by a police car in the pursuit. Because they have to actually be in a position where they can deploy the spike strips across an area that the suspect vehicle is going to hit it, and then they're going to have to be in that same position to be able to remove them quick enough so that the pursuing officers don't run over it as well. So usually not something you'd see in a situation like this on a typical Southern California freeway. It wouldn't be a very viable option right now.
Yeah, and where there are other people out there on the road.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of that, Pat, you know, if he's going northbound on the 405, he'll be getting into Long Beach where there is going to be more people on the road, more traffic for sure. It's definitely going to make it harder for this driver to get around once that traffic starts to pick up, getting more into the city.
Okay, has he turned off his lights?
Oh, yeah, no
All
lights.
right, Darren, new development here. They just turned their lights off. I'm sure, well, our helicopter is certainly overhead.
That's dangerous.
Yes, it is very dangerous, but he's still being lit up. But it's just, if you're on that freeway, of course, and you can't see something like that coming up on you, that could be very unnerving for sure. And since he's made a move like this, I would ascertain, Darren, that the law enforcement is even more anxious to get this person off the freeway and in handcuffs.
Absolutely. Yeah, and when a suspect does something like this on the freeway at these high speeds, what you have to think about, too, we talked about this a minute ago, is the stopping distance of that large, heavy vehicle. So he can't see what's in front of him, and if he comes up on a vehicle that's going much slower than him in that same lane, the likelihood of a collision occurring is exacerbated by a whole bunch. So not a smart move, not a safe move. Of course, the entire actions by fleeing is not smart. But by turning off the lights like that, it's not going to assist him getting away. The police helicopters overhead, the ground units can still see him. They have spotlights. They can light that thing up like a Christmas tree if they want to. So it's not very beneficial for him to do it, whether he thinks it is or not, and it's not going to help him get away.
No, it's not. And from what we understand, that the helicopter belongs to CHP that's overhead, that is following this vehicle right now. And I just want to give some, like, a personal account, Darren and Chris. I was on the freeway last week coming home from work, and there was a vehicle behind me that had no lights on.
Yeah.
Scared the living daylights out of me because
100%.
it came up on me so fast, and I really couldn't see until they passed me.
And it looks like the driver's slowing down a little bit, 40 miles an hour. I saw his brake lights right now.
Well,
yeah,
he's got that
37.
tanker on the other side of him.
And I've been watching, I don't know if you've noticed this as well, but he seems to be straddling lane lines and kind of weaving a little bit, which brings into question what the driver's level of intoxication may or may not be, whether it's alcohol and or drugs. It's slowing down significantly now. You did see the brake lights on a second ago. But you know, that's an issue. You don't know whether the driver is under the influence of alcohol or drugs. You don't know if the driver is experiencing some kind of a mental breakdown or mental crisis. We don't know if the driver's been involved in other crimes. So all of that is stuff that the officers that are pursuing have to keep into account as they're going through the pursuit and trying to maintain safe distance and safely get this person into custody without hurting himself, a member of the public, or one of the officers in the pursuit.
And we don't know if that vehicle has been impaired in some way.
Yeah.
We just
Correct.
know that
You
either.
can't tell. And it makes you wonder if, you know, the driver's going on the 405 northbound, running into the 710. If
Hey,
they'll continue
guys,
on the
do we
405.
see movement in the passenger side? I don't know. I
Oh,
mean,
it stopped. The vehicle has
he's
stopped.
pulled over. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of a delay. He's still moving on my end. But,
Okay, now he's going a little bit, and he's off again.
All right, don't know exactly what this is about, Darren. He took off, stopped. Now he's going into the middle of the freeway, and not exactly sure what he's going to do. If he's playing cat and mouse with officers. Now he is going over to the carpool lane. Oh wait, there is something. I don't know what this is. There is a big poster of some kind.
Oh my goodness!
Look
It's
at
like
that.
to protect from the sun. How is
Or from
this
the
person
helicopter.
seeing?
It's got amount 1995.
1999 or something.
Are you looking at this, Darren?
I am. So
How is he
he's putting-
driving?
No, this is. It looks like it's something from U-Haul. There's a thing with the probably the daily
Oh,
rental
my goodness.
cost.
Yeah, but it's covering
now,
the
All right, so now he's going back toward. Okay, maybe exiting.
he's-
This isn't good.
No, we don't know what he's doing here. Is he on
No,
a?
so what this looks like he's going to do is like he's probably going to stop and barricade himself. He obviously can't
he's
see
exiting.
what's going on with there. But when
Do you see that
okay, so
sign?
now he's going right towards the officers and he's blocked out the windshield. This is not.
No,
good.
that's not a good.
So apparently the driver's front side tire is blown, so that's gonna.
So it
that's-
was damaged.
He had no choice but to pull over. But
That's-
how the heck
Look
is
at
he
this
seeing out of his
person.
window?
But look at this pedestrian. Is that a gentleman on a bicycle? That's
So dark.
he just passed this vehicle. Well, this is
Oh.
pretty. Just when you think you haven't
Oh
seen
my
it.
god. Okay, so he peeks
Right,
behind
this is,
the
this is
windshield
it,
a little
yeah.
bit.
Well, you know what? He's trying to see a little bit. You could see that
Yeah, now
sign
the door's
moving.
open. That door is open. The driver's door was open as he came through there.
Well, this is very. Now we don't know
Now it's
exactly
closed
what
again.
Every
the
chase
reason is.
amazes me. Always something new. I'm Pat.
Yeah,
now.
what this is new. I've never seen a U-Haul with the sign covering the front window, the windshield
do we
like
know what street did he exit on? Do we know?
Let's see if we can pull that up. If we could see the.
that. Well, now
detail.
he's pulling into
a
a gas station, Darren, which is as you said, he may try to barricade himself.
Yeah, there's no other reason for him to do that.
He's not stopping to get gas, I wouldn't think. Right?
I mean, you never know. He's driving with the windshield cover.
We've seen all things in these pursuits, so you don't know. But
He's taking off.
I mean, thankfully the driver can't get up to those speeds of 80 miles per hour. But I mean, the fact that he or she's been driving with no lights, you could see the front left tire completely blown out. The 1995 windshield sign is in full force. I mean, this person does not want to give up, but like you're saying,
No, he is
Darren,
driving in
if this
circles.
person is under the influence of anything, whether it's drugs or alcohol, this makes sense why he's acting this way.
Yeah, well, that, and we, like Pat just said, we did talk about them going back into areas that they're familiar with. Maybe this is that area. But these little round robins, doing little U-turns here and there,
Right.
Not safe at all. We did see people in the gas station. We see cars out on the road there. They don't know what's going on. They see the police cars with their lights and sirens. And now we've got a U-Haul who now is going all over the road. So very dangerous. The driver obviously does not have a good field of view through there. He's now in the center lanes, straddling lanes again with oncoming traffic coming. So this is getting far more dangerous as the pursuit goes on these city streets.
That's correct.
Even
He's
with
on
the slow
Long Beach.
speeds.
Long Beach Boulevard now, Darren, is our locator. He's in Long
Got it.
Beach, on
And
Long
East
Beach
Cameron
Boulevard.
Place, or 37th
Okay.
Street now.
And obviously he's trying to use that sign so
So we can't see him.
the night sun from the chopper cannot
Yeah,
get through.
it's kind of a futile effort because the night sun usually isn't going to be the intent is not to blind the driver. We don't want them to not be able to see what they're doing. It's so that the officers behind them can continue to see. So I would think that this putting that sign up there in front is more of a an offensive mechanism for him, planning something as this continues to go on, rather than trying to block the light. So interesting as to what he's doing here, continuing on the city streets and still without his headlights on.
And he's got, guys, he's got more than one sign, because there is a sign, there's a poster also in the passenger side,
Yes,
the
there
window.
was. Yes.
You see that?
I do,
He's
yeah.
also covered that as well. That's
the
why
ones-
at first I questioned, is there someone else in that vehicle with
Yeah,
him?
for sure.
And that's why I was thinking that maybe he was going to barricade himself there when he turned straight on to the officers on the freeway. Fortunately, he made a U-turn, but that was a very, very dangerous situation for the officers, not knowing what's behind that cover, and the suspect could be armed and could potentially, aim harm at them.
I'm
So-
amazed at how long this driver can go with that blown out tire. You would think that the weight would affect the driving of the U-Haul, but I mean, as you can see, this driver keeps going, and we don't know if there's another person inside. As Pat was saying, it looks like that window is covered as well. I mean, there could be a passenger with this person. There could be even people in the back of this U-Haul that we still don't know. But I mean,
Correct.
Or why he was why he stole the truck in the first place,
yeah,
correct?
so many questions.
Yeah.
And what he's doing in there
Fortunately, it looks
now.
like green lights now.
Okay, let's see.
Well,
Pretty quiet area, which is good to see. And,
it is, fortunately.
But he's
I
still
mean,
got
Again,
that
he's taking
sign.
up the whole roadway. You can see he's going back and forth throughout the lanes into the center divider and then back to the number 1 and the number 2 lane. So he does not have good control of the vehicle.
Yeah, not only that, but I mean, I still don't understand how this person can even see outside of the window. I mean, that
Right.
1999 sign is covering up a lot of it. Maybe there's just like a part in the upper right-hand corner that he or she is peeking through, but I mean, this driver just keeps going, no lights. I don't know how he could see either way, so.
Yeah,
And he's still on Long
what's
Beach.
really-
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think what's really going to be bad is if he comes up to an intersection with a car in it that he can't see.
He can't see
Right.
anything.
And
yeah.
with the vehicle, even if it's moving at 40 miles an hour, that heavy of a vehicle will cause some serious damage and injuries. So, very reckless on the suspect's part. We've
Or
said over and
pedestrian.
over again, it's just he needs to give up.
No, he does. Moments ago, we saw a guy on a bicycle, and I'm thinking that was on the corner of where the gas station was. But there he was, and this truck was right next to him. So that presents another danger as well, obviously to other vehicles on the street, but to pedestrians possibly.
Yeah, and that was right where he came off the freeway. It was just
Yes.
the 4 point of the freeway
Is
joining
that the same
roadway
gas
where
station
happened.
that he turned in?
I don't think so. I think
No, it's about a block further down.
Okay, yeah, he's on Del Amo Boulevard now. So no, it isn't.
and there's the intersection you're talking about.
And look at that. Look at the heavy buses, the big metro buses.
Yeah.
The only thing we could say that is consistent right now is that he's been driving at relatively lower amounts of speed.
Right.
Ever since that tire, whatever happened to the tire on the truck, and with him putting the sign up.
I mean, I can't
Yeah.
imagine this person can go much further. I mean, a blown out tire, And, you know, this pursuit has been going on for quite a while, you know, and I can only imagine there's only so much gas left in this. But as we saw earlier, Pat, the driver, you're right, the driver was going up to 70 miles per hour, which was way too fast for a vehicle of this size. And thankfully they've slowed down a little bit, but the bottom line is now this driver's on residential streets and continues to go. And as we mentioned, thankfully it is a Monday night, not a lot of people out there, but this person apparently has no intentions of pulling over. So at this
something
point,
else that I'm picking up on, Chris, and I don't know if you guys have seen, but that sign that was covering the passenger window keeps falling down, and he keeps trying to put it back up. So that takes even more of his attention away from the roadway and his control of the vehicle. So it looks like right now it's back up a little bit, but it keeps falling down, and then you'll see it be pushed back. Oh, it looks like there might be somebody in the passenger seat with a yellow shirt on that's pushing that back. Did you see that?
That's why I questioned. Because it was moving so much as he was driving. I'm thinking, well, that's a pretty wide span to keep your hand on the steering wheel also adjust.
Unless they have really long
the
arms.
sign on the it could.
Yeah, it does look like there may be a passenger in the passenger seat. It looks like the person's kind of moving from the center of the bench seat over to the passenger side to put that sign back up and then down, but
is the right tire blown as well? It's kind of hard to see, but it looks like the right front tire might be blown out as well. Can you guys get a closer look at that?
I can't see that.
Or maybe not. Right?
Well, he just went
I
over.
feel like it's very bumpy.
Yeah, either he just went over a bump or because it's the vehicle itself. It almost looks like it's going to be incapacitated in a moment here.
Right.
Don't you see, guys?
Well, we'll see before it does, because if it starts running on the rim, you'll start to see sparks. And there you just see he ran up onto the center divider there and back down again. So, yeah, there's probably some control issues with the vehicle with the blown out tire. But if we start seeing sparks, we're knowing that it's running on the rim.
Yeah, literally weaving in and out of traffic, obviously not using signals. That was a green light at that intersection. Let's see with this one. That one was a green light as well. I mean, it's those red lights that can be scary. You don't want a T-bone situation, especially with this U-Haul, because even at 30 miles per hour, it could definitely do some damage.
It's a heavy truck. Well, he's back on Long Beach Boulevard. So now we've also seen somewhat of a pattern where he stayed in a similar area.
Right.
Or the same area for a little bit, right? For the last at least 5-10 minutes that we've been talking. He's gotten off Long Beach Boulevard, but still in the relatively the same area, which Darren says what to you? That possibly he knows this area, he knows someone nearby?
Well, I think it's probably an area that he's more, we keep saying he, but we haven't seen the driver. It could be a she, but it's certainly an area that the driver feels more comfortable with, and probably knows the streets a little bit better, feels comfortable driving on those without the lights on. But he hasn't pulled over yet. He did pull into that gas station, which was an interesting move. He did stop for a little bit on the freeway, but he's continuing to go consistently through this area in Long Beach, kind of a little bit.
Okay, it looks like he's coming to a stop again, 9 miles per hour, or maybe just turning around. But, I mean, at this point, I mean, it looks like he's losing control.
Haven't we seen him do that before? You know, for our viewers that are possibly just tuning in, this chase apparently started in Buena Park. This was a stolen vehicle, this U-Haul truck here. We have seen this driver on several freeways, the 22 freeway, and then getting on northbound 405, and now he's in the city of Long Beach on Long Beach Boulevard. He was driving relatively normal for a while, and then slowed down when something happened to this truck, and maybe there was a spike strip, guys, that we didn't see. I mean, that's happened before.
Yeah, definitely.
Where we don't necessarily have the visual, but one of these tires, at least one, is certainly
and it kind of looks
damaged.
like the right one is as well, doesn't it?
It does, Chris. I'm seeing that now too. It does look like that right front tire is at least very low, if not completely flat, which too could explain some of the issues with the control that he's having of the vehicle, where it's going up on the center divider, he hits the curb when he makes the U-turn, etc., because the vehicle is not going to steer as well.
And he's slowing down again.
And the fact that he slowed down the very first time, he obviously ran into some trouble. We don't know exactly what for sure. It could have been a spike strip that we didn't see. You know?
It could have been, but it also,
Okay, now
when
here's
he
some
made that
traffic.
move around on when he came off of the freeway and made that really kind of roundabout move, kind of through the divider.
So that's Long Beach
he could have
Boulevard
picked up a
turning
nail
on
there.
to
West Victoria Street.
Okay.
But just
Oh, where's he-
giving
is he
another
losing control?
recap to our viewers, he also stopped.
At another
Like I
gas
said,
station.
another gas station.
Oh, is he going to stop underneath
He
this?
stopped just in the middle of the street. Remember when police officers were right behind him? We thought he was going to give himself up. He stopped for a moment and then pulled off again.
Okay, that right front tire is going to, so you can see
He
he
is
is on the
wobbling
rim
really
now.
badly.
Yeah,
The left front tire and that right front tire is down too.
This has to be
Not a
coming
good
to an
place
end.
for
Oh,
the
there we
stop.
go.
We're not gonna
Crashed
be able
into
to
one of
see.
those.
And there is somebody in the
poles.
passenger seat. It really looks like another person.
Yep.
Well, you see the driver can't see anything, just slammed into that because the windshield cover is right there. Mind
Well,
blown.
and again,
And he's off.
we've seen, look, that wheel is really damaged. The right front tire, it's wobbling so badly.
Yeah, and there is no doubt there is somebody in the passenger seat. I couldn't tell if it's a male or a female, but there is a person in the passenger seat.
Yeah, so two people in a stolen U-Haul, that's really,
Well, at least two people in the
yeah,
stolen U-Haul.
because we
Yeah,
don't
what's
even
in the
know what's
back?
in the back. But
All right, so what is
certainly,
that?
look, that tire's almost coming off, the right
Yeah,
tire. I
the
don't
right
mean to
front
laugh,
tire. He's
but-
on the rim there.
Okay, so as we know what's going to happen next, just in terms of sparks possibly coming from these front tires.
How long can a vehicle like this go with two tires that are blown out?
Well, it depends. He's not going real fast.
No.
But, when that rubber comes off and he's on the actual rims, he's going to have very little control. You'll start seeing sparks coming. And if it gets too hot, you can see the engine compartment catch fire. We've seen that happen before in these pursuits where they continue driving on the rims. So I can't give you an exact time, but when it comes off, we're going to know it's going to come to an end pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yes, and it will. And also another move we haven't talked about. He cut the lights off. He turned the lights off. He's been driving now for a good 20
Now
minutes
he's on the
with
wrong
no
side of
lights.
the road. Is he on the wrong? No. Okay.
So he's at Long
But there we
Beach
have another
Boulevard
bicyclist again.
with the Pasadena exit. So you don't possibly think this guy would try to get back
The
on?
lights are back on. Yeah.
Oh. John, our
Maybe
lighting
this-
director,
this
said he
person
heard
wants
me.
to-
I don't know about
Okay,
that.
hey guys, look at the back cargo area. Does it look
Mm-hmm.
like the back door is coming up a little bit? That back door is not closed all the way anymore.
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
And it looks like he's slowing down. Another gas station. This person has
Long
oh, there's
Beach.
a
There's a
pedestrian waiting at the bus stop.
Which has got to be scary.
Okay, you can see the sparks starting to come out from the left rear wheel,
Yeah.
left front wheel now.
Yes.
And that back cargo area, that door is starting to come up a little bit as well.
Yeah, this
so
is
we don't know
definitely
if
coming
there's
to an
somebody
end
inside
soon.
that may have opened it because they're waiting for this to come to an end. Or what? But this is going to be
Stopping again.
Look at all those people.
These are quite a few pedestrians out.
Yeah, this is I mean,
Wait a
where are all
minute.
these people coming from?
What is going on here, Darren? I don't know.
Well, they're
There's-
probably watching the broadcast, and they want to come out and get their minute of fame on TV. So we would tell people, if you're watching this, go inside and stay inside. This
Yeah,
is a
you don't
dangerous,
know if this
volatile
person's armed.
situation.
Yes, we don't know much about these people that are in this vehicle, why it was stolen in the first place, but what they could have inside. We don't know that, so that does present a dangerous situation. Again, but this is the most residential, I would say, of any of the streets that we have seen
Yeah,
this
first time
driver
seeing
on.
people.
Would you say so?
Yeah. Yeah, I would, but again, we don't know if maybe he knows somebody there too, and they're watching
That's
it, or
why
he
I made
called
that
them or
statement.
whatever. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's why I made
So-
that statement, because he's been in this area for a while, and this is the longest that we've seen him in a strictly residential area, more residential, I should say, because we still
Yeah.
see some businesses there.
And talking a little bit about pit maneuvers, definitely more of a challenge. Okay, what's he doing?
Well, he's getting filmed now by other people.
Yeah. What's the protocol, Darren, when it comes to pit maneuvers for a vehicle this large? I mean, obviously, it's a lot tougher.
Yeah.
It would be very, very difficult. The vehicle weighs a lot more than the police car would weigh. It's more top heavy, so it would be more likely or more susceptible to rolling rather than spinning. So I don't think that they would use a pit maneuver here. I think that there's been opportunities in the last 15 minutes or so that if it was a viable option, they could have.
Right.
But I wouldn't consider it to be viable with this vehicle in this situation.
And you know what? I had another message here that there have been two successful spike strips.
Good. Well, that explains the
That
chip
has
on
been
tires.
too.
Yeah.
Yes. So, sometimes we don't always have the best advantage or can actually see the officers
or
deploy
it goes
them.
by so fast that you miss
Yeah,
it.
you know
because
that.
it's dark. Yeah.
You know that, Darren.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just amazed that he's still continuing to go.
I am
You got to
too.
know that this is it's going to end soon.
I mean,
but now it's a matter of people standing out on the roadway filming and everything else, and it just bolsters his bravado and keeps him going for his moment of fame, where it just needs to end.
Yeah, it reminds me of the pursuit from earlier today, also in Orange County with that big van that just kept going and going. And let's hope when this one ends, that when the driver gets out, he actually puts the vehicle in park.
Yeah,
We don't want to see that again.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay, so
unfortunately,
he's coming
nobody
up
returned
on
on
this
that
intersection.
in a
Long
residential
Beach.
area.
And East Del Amo Boulevard, we've seen him on this street before.
I mean, going
Notice,
so
remember
slow,
seeing the
less than-
7-Eleven, and there's the other
See that pedestrian
Chevron
crosswalk?
station.
That lady?
All right, so maybe
Wow.
he's choosing. Well, you know what we hope does not happen here, Darren, as well, is that we had mentioned, you said before something about a barricade situation. We don't want to see
Yes.
that either.
No.
No, we don't. And that's long protracted. It raises the stakes significantly. The lady in the crosswalk walking right in front of the police cars in a pursuit. I love it. But it raises the stakes for everybody involved. And we want these situations to resolve peacefully without a use of force, without anybody getting hurt, without there being a collision. But really, it's the suspect who dictates what happens at the end of this. He can give up peacefully, or he can raise the level and cause the use of force to have to happen. But that's up to him. So hopefully he makes the right decision and just gives up.
All right, right here, it looks like he's slowing down.
Well, that vehicle is backing up, letting him get away.
Doing a
He's saying, I don't
U-turn.
want any part of this. He's doing a
Oh,
U-turn.
crashing into that vehicle because he
Well,
can't
see, all right.
Okay, I think
is this an opportunity,
Oh.
Darren? I guess not, because he's backing
No.
up.
Yeah, and you don't want the potential for the vehicle to drive away still exists, and therefore you don't want to go up on there and create a situation where you're.
Well, he's damaged
his
that
lights
truck,
are on,
so you
but
can
it's-
imagine the back of that vehicle. So now he's added stolen truck, evading officers,
multiple crashes,
multiple crashes,
damage to this U-Haul.
and look at these people out in the street. Well, that's not safe either.
No.
We don't know exactly what they're saying to this person, but now he's crashed into another vehicle.
I just don't
And
understand
hopefully
why
that
he has the
vehicle
window
was
covered.
unoccupied and there wasn't somebody sitting in it. But every single one of these violations adds to it, shows that his wanton disregard for public safety and
There's
raises
another
the
one.
stakes for everybody involved.
All right, I'm listing off the violations, but Darren, you certainly know better than I do, just in terms of how many violations that he
All right,
is.
is he stopping behind the
There's
tree?
numerous. There's numerous criminal violations as well as the traffic violations. But the traffic violations, when they add up like this, it just, like I said, it shows the wanton disregard for the public safety, and that raises it from a misdemeanor evading to a felony evading when he's, driving in dangerous conditions like this and endangering the public. So. There's people that are keeping track of all these violations. The dispatcher, when every time you hit the car, they're going to call it out.
Is he going to crash in? Okay.
No, that car is moving out the way.
Why
And
would he do
Darren,
it?
give us another, I'm sorry,
Oh, no,
Chris.
go ahead.
Give us another tutorial, because people are saying, oh, they've got him, he slowed down. Why don't they just box him in? Very dangerous to do that, right?
It is. And in today's day and age, everything is about the de-escalation of force. And we want to give the person the opportunity to give up peacefully and not be injured, or for us to not have to use force. And the only way to do that is to sit back and give commands and give them the opportunity to do it. Now, if it does turn into a barricade where the person's in a stationary position, refuses to obey commands, refuses
Oh, it's
to
getting
exit the
bumpy.
vehicle, then they're going to most likely call in negotiators. They're going to block the vehicle in so it can't continue on. But we're not there yet. But the problem is that we have people out there encouraging him and egging him on.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something we see all
exacerbates
too
the
often.
situation.
And that's why he's stopping. He seems to be toying a bit. Now, what is that? He's rocking the vehicle himself. And the other thing, Darren, is let's be honest. officers also would put themselves in danger because they don't really know the state of mind of this person or if they do have any weapons in this truck that's rocking back and forth. So if they try to block the driver in, not knowing if he's armed or not, that also presents a danger to officers.
Correct. And the only way that it would happen like that is if it's been stationary for a while and they have the opportunity to bring in one of the large SWAT armored vehicles to go head on into it to prevent it from moving. It's much easier with a smaller vehicle, but a vehicle that's this size, and has the weight behind it. Fortunately, without the front tires, it's not going to be able to get the traction to be able to push the large vehicle. But it would not happen unless it's a barricade and they got one of the large SWAT vehicles that's armored to go into the front there head on to block it from maneuvering. And that won't happen for a while.
Yeah, that would take a minute even to call for them for that kind of backup for SWAT.
And it looks like the back tire is out too. So that's 3 tires. That's why every time you think this driver's going to stop, nope. Keeps going.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys picked up on it through one of those last intersections. There was a passenger hanging out the window of a car going the opposite direction, filming this. So, so these people are doing silly things, endangering their own lives just to get a shot of this. It's we all need to take a minute and breathe and use our heads and be thoughtful in this.
And I thought that he was making that car rock.
Oh, there we go.
Himself,
this has to be it, right?
Well, when you
not.
say that, don't hit
we've
that.
said that so
Don't
many
hit
times
the.
already.
Oh, there we go.
Now he's up on. Okay.
And he stopped.
Well,
All right, we can
Darren,
pull around so we could see.
I almost thought that he was stuck.
I did too. I was hoping he was.
Is he trying to go up a hill?
I think so.
It looks like a
Sorry to laugh.
hillside. Darren, no, all right, he's up on the curb, trying to go further,
Yeah, this is.
but he's
this looks
certainly
like it's
not
coming
in a
too good.
driveway. There's no question about that. He's trying to go up on the curb.
Yep.
And then
It
do
almost
what?
looks like that might be a park or something. He's trying to get up into the park.
Well, don't
Yeah.
don't back up into that vehicle. Oh, okay. Now he has made it over the curb. And this does look like a park of some kind. So,
Yeah, it does.
but
I'm
what's the
trying to figure it
next
out.
move, Darren? You think he's going to try to get out and run? They're
You
right
know,
there.
It's anybody's guess at this point. Let's just see what he does here. But yeah, now he's going to drive through the park, and this might be tactical on his part because there's trees there, and the helicopter may lose him under the trees.
I mean, I'm impressed by that U-Haul and the fact that it's able to kind of go off-roading with blown-out tires. I mean, it doesn't stop.
No.
All right, let's see if we can get around those
Yeah,
trees.
we're having a problem right now. Seeing exactly. My only inclination is that he was trying to get into that park to possibly do some kind of foot bail.
Yeah.
To stop. The helicopter
Yeah, it
couldn't
looks like
follow
he
him through the
stopped.
trees, but again, there were so many officers there. We've seen that happen before, and they're usually apprehended. And right now, we're not exactly sure if he is apprehended.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to talk to him. They've got
Yeah,
their
I would
guns trying to
say
get
at this
blocked
point it
in.
looks like he's probably stopped.
Well,
and,
see that.
There we go.
Is that Long CHP?
CHP, yeah.
Because I know
CHP
Long
is
Beach
what I'm
also
seeing right
followed.
now.
Well, they've got him. They're right up in the back.
All right, there they go.
And now they are not joking. Not that they ever
Let's see if
were,
we can
but
get
they are
around.
approaching this vehicle, Darren.
It seems like they're doing it faster than they usually do, right?
It does. And it may be because they've determined that this has been such a public safety hazard that they can't wait.
Right.
That if he takes off again, it's just going to hurt. Somebody's going to get hurt or killed. So
Okay, doors
They've got
open.
the door
They
open.
need to do it right now.
Okay, he's struggling,
Yeah.
but they have the suspect out of this vehicle.
Let's see if there's another person in
But
that
that,
vehicle.
yeah, Darren, can you tell us why they didn't approach the opposite side either? Do they just maybe believe that?
Crossfire.
Okay.
They wouldn't want to put the officers in a crossfire. Should something happen, they needed to use deadly force.
Well,
And
hey,
if
I'm just
anything,
glad
they
this
want to
is-
get the driver out of the car. They want to get
They
him.
may not know that there's a passenger in the car. I'm sure they do now, but when they approach, they may not have known. So,
I mean, do we even know there's another person? Is that?
well, they're going around to the passenger side now.
Yeah, to check it.
Well, how do we know that person didn't get out of the? I don't exactly know how these.
Well, no. If you look, one of the officers was holding at gunpoint a person from the driver's side into the passenger side. Now they've got a passenger down on the ground, and it looks like it's a female on the passenger side, maybe.
Oh, wow, okay.
Oh, you could see better than us, because I can't.
I know.
We're
I need to
looking at the
get my
driver
glasses.
right now. Now
Yeah,
they're.
Okay, there's the female.
So
Looks
I
like
was
a young
watching, and
female,
as
too.
they were still struggling with the male driver, there was an officer that was holding at gunpoint somebody through the driver's door, which told me that there was a passenger in the car for sure.
Yeah.
Then two officers went around to that other side and pulled that person out, and it looked like a female, and it still looks like a female to me.
Yeah, us too.
From the
And,
passenger side.
I mean, I'm just glad this pursuit is over. And by the way this person's walking, I mean, this person potentially looks like they could be under the influence, you know.
Yep.
But it's definitely been a wild pursuit, to say the least.
Yeah,
It
but
has.
look at the people that are standing there with their cell phones out filming it.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
You know, people. We get all kind of people coming at you on social media, and someone just said, "Why is this newsworthy?" Well, for one, in terms of this, we don't know exactly how this could have ended, and there were people, there were pedestrians, drivers
Especially
that
towards
could have
the
been in
end.
danger. Correct. This person crashed, I don't know, into several vehicles that we've seen. So
Yeah,
at that
and,
point, that is
you know,
go ahead, public safety.
A lot of people criticize and wonder if it's sensationalized, but the flip side of that is the public needs to know what's going on here, and the officers did a phenomenal job. And you see the restraint that they used, even with a suspect who is fighting, resisting, endangering the public. So I think that the public needs to see this side of law enforcement and see how well they do 99.9% of the time, and to also show the public the dangers that are out there as they're out on the roadways while this is going on. So that's why it's newsworthy to me.
And there were several moments there where something could have happened that did endanger people in the area, motorists. Anytime you have somebody driving on the freeways and erratically, which at first they were driving pretty normal, and then he started crossing freeways, crossing lines. That vehicle became damaged, and you've got somebody driving around in neighborhoods with a vehicle that could have, sparks could have flown.
I mean, anything
could
could have
have happened at any moment.
I mean,
So-
the fact
Correct.
that this driver couldn't see, didn't have the lights on, 3 blown out tires. Thankfully, it's come to an end here. And,
But you know what,
no one got
guys?
hurt.
They haven't opened the back of that cab, Darren.
Yeah,
That's
they
the
have
big-
not.
the real-
And to
the
me,
real
that's a
question, huh?
tactical mistake. They should have done that already.
They heard you,
but
Pat.
what will likely happen now is that Buena Park PD would likely send an officer to the termination point here to take custody of the suspect since it initiated in their jurisdiction. So,
All right.
and
All right,
we
well-
still haven't seen him.
Another wild U-Haul pursuit
There we
here
go.
in
Here we
LA.
go. Now they're going to open the back end. Maybe not.
Well, I
Okay.
pointed that out simply because we were talking about the back seeming to open at
Right.
some point. Remember, we thought that there could have been movement there. But now we can call this a code 4, right, Darren? I'm going to let you call it.
Yeah, I think we can. I still would like to see inside the back end there before everything is completely done. But, you know, obviously the vehicle's not going to go anywhere any further. It's contained. They have it locked in. And if there is somebody in the back, eventually they're going to find them.
All right. Well, Darren, thank you for being with us once again. I noticed Chris said that you all were on the air earlier.
We've been talking all day, huh, Dan?
this afternoon.
Yes, we have. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, sir. We appreciate you helping us out for sure.
Thanks, Darren.